There are currently two energy stocks that I have my eyes all over, and I believe both of these stocks can not only 5x in price, but honestly 10x between now and 2030, as we are looking at both of these stocks are going to be 10xing their revenue and their EPS over the next 3 years alone. Now, this is insane growth to hear from two small cap stocks. Now, of course, I'm very bullish on both of these companies, and I believe both of them are going to scale to perfection. But with both of these companies scaling at such a high rate, there is definitely going to be some risk. So please do your own research. This is not financial advice. But for me personally, I have done my research, and I believe that their scaling is going to look amazing. Both of these companies, like I said, looking to 10x revenue, 10x EPS, and we're supposed to see a large jump in free cash flow for both of these companies. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and break down the two energy stocks that I believe could be the next multi-baggers within the market. Now, before we do jump into this video, we are currently offering our Black Friday sale, which is our biggest sale of the year, and that ends tonight. So make sure you guys do take advantage of this by clicking the link in the description down below. As you guys can see, we get 50% off our monthly program with code Friday and 25% off our long-term plans with code LONGTERM. Now, make sure you guys take advantage of that. That is our biggest sale of the year by far. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Now, the first stock that we're going to be taking a look at is obviously Eos behind you. Eos is a great company, as we have seen with their growth in financials, but they are a company making zinc batteries, which are a lot more reliable than lithium. As you guys can see here, they're looking to expand their production and add automation. What that means is that they're looking to add automating factors to their production to make that production cycle a lot quicker and cleaner. Also, we're looking at their zinc batteries, which have a much longer duration for storage, also much safer with zinc than lithium. As we all know, lithium likes to explode, which is not very good. Also, we can see utility companies and municipal projects, renewable energy partners. All three of those are going to be big factors and players and customers for Eos over the next couple of years. Now that we know what Eos does and kind of how we can look at this in the background, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the chart here. Now, as you guys can see, Eos is currently sitting at a price at around $15.04. And right now I am on the 4-hour time frame, and you guys can see it has been a little bit volatile over the last couple of weeks. As you guys can see, we went all the way up to $19.10, all the way back down to around $13, all the way back up to around $20, and then all the way back down to around $11.59 at the low, and right now we are pressing back up. Now, this volatility, in my opinion, does not mean anything. This does not scare me one bit, especially when you do factor in the fact that we are getting such good financial growth over the next couple of years. Now, the interesting part about this and why I am not scared is because we really just swept both sides. As you guys can see, we came up here, swept the longs, and then pulled them back down. People got their entries for shorts. Good, great, awesome. Right here, people were still getting entries for shorts. People were getting entries for longs. The longs end up winning. We'll see how long this continues to play out. But this is honestly, as bad as it looks, it is really not a poor formation. It just looks gross on the chart. Now, what we can see coming out of this is obviously going to be the most important factor. And honestly, our first level is going to be at 22.30, sorry. And from prices today, that is still a pretty good gain of around 50%. So still a really good gain on the table just for our first target. And guys, I do want to let you guys know I will be showing you guys my full position, and you guys can see my average cost is actually at around $9.60 now, as we have bought a little bit more. But I will be talking you guys through my position as well. Now, I am going to switch over to the daily time frame to talk about our next target, which is going to be up at the 618 extension. Now, this target is up from prices today, up around 85%, so still a great gain. And I could see something like this coming by the end of the year if we are going to continue this strong push. When Eos did get its first leg up, it was absolutely just amazingly fast. Right here we had about a month time frame where the stock gained over 200%. Seriously gained about 200% about a week and a half, or sorry, a month and a half. So we could definitely see something like this happen again. We could go all the way up to our 1618 extension, honestly all the way back up to prior all-time highs, which is up around 140% and up around 113% from prices today. Now, for my average cost, that is my main target, and that is up around 231%. And with the amount of shares that I have, that is going to be a pretty hefty return. Now, your boy's about to see a 5-figure return if something like this happens, so let's go ahead and break this down because your boy is excited. Now, here you go. You can see that we got this push up to around $32 after we IPO'd. Then from there, we're forming this cup formation where you guys can see financials start to kick back in, stock price starts to reflect that, yada, yada, yada. We all know that. Now, we can take this measured move from the low of the cup to the high of the cup right here. That's what that's from. Put it on all-time highs, and you get your measured move. Now, why I'm so excited about this is because from our entry to the measured move extension, that's about 563%. Now, if you guys do remember, I just sold my Oklo shares, and we made about 540% on those, which is another nuclear energy stock. I know it's a little bit different from where we're talking about Eos with zinc, but energy stock nonetheless. We could see something crazy happen. Now, once again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but It is a possibility. It is a possibility, and it's something to look for. And honestly, EOS has 10 times the amount of revenue, EPS, and financials that Oklo has. So if this is going to play out, we could see EOS go to fucking $500 if it wants to. Okay, now really quickly jumping into my position within EOS, you guys can see we are currently up on 500 shares at an average price of $9.62. We are currently up around $2,773 for about a 57.64% return. Now, when the stock price was up over $19, I was well up over 100%. Now, it does suck that it's pulled back, but we actually bought some more shares, brought the average cost up just a little bit, and you can see we are now sitting on those 500 shares. I've been selling covered calls on these shares. The premium is great. I've already made over $600 on their covered calls in the last 3 months alone. That is insane to say, and I believe that I'm going to be able to continue to do this. Right now, I have the $25 covered calls for next week. Seriously, and I got $90 in premium for that. That is insane. But nonetheless, we were up around $480 on Friday, and all together up around $2,700. So this position is looking absolutely amazing. And once we get to that 555% return, if we get there, that is going to be obviously a pretty hefty return. That should look something like $20,000. Now, I normally don't do this, but this is our extended account where we do own some more EOS, and this position is just a little bit cooler, so I thought we might as well show it. Now, over here, I have 570 shares of EOS at an average price of around $6.30 a share, which means my cost basis was around $3,500. Currently, our current value is over $8,500, meaning that we are currently up around $5,000 in total for about a 140% gain. Once again, when the price was up over $20 a share, we were up over 200% in just about 3 months of holding, and this position was up around $500 on Friday alone. Now, I don't want to hit on this too much because I normally don't talk about this account, but EOS has been absolutely killing it to the point where this account is looking so thankful. Now, the next stock we're going to be taking a look at is T1 Energy, ticker symbol TE. Now, I alerted this one in the Discord as well, and it has been absolutely rocketing ever since. I alerted this thing at $2.90, and currently the price is at $4.14. Currently up around 42% in just about a week's time. Now, as we do go in on the daily time frame, you guys can see this is an absolutely amazing setup. Like I said, revenue, EPS, and free cash flow is expected to 5 to 10x over the next few years. So with a setup like this, we are looking absolutely amazing. Now here we are with TE, and you guys can see we have this nice cup and handle, worked our way back into the golden zone, immediately jumped off of that golden zone, and we are now at 42% from our entry. Now, with that entry being so great, we can see our target next is going to be not even 531. We don't even care about that target. We can be taking trims there, but I'm currently looking at that 750 price target right there, which is up around 160%. We can also go ahead and target up to that 1618 extension, which is currently up 249%. Now, I do want to switch over to the monthly time frame because this stock is a definite interesting one, and I say that because they did not have good financials at all until about a few years ago, and they still don't have financials that are good enough yet. But what we are doing is forecasting out as we are looking at their growth for the future, and over the next 3 years, that is really not that long of a time frame to wait on a stock like this. So I really do think TE is another big player here. Now, I do want to also point out the fact that we could go back to IPO price, which is currently, from our entry down at 290, that is up around 260%, and then all the way up to all-time highs, that is up another 520%. And guys, that is just back to all-time highs. If we are to measure a move, let's just use, our Fibonacci retracement right here. Let's just say this is going to be our move. We could see something north of around $26, which would be almost 1,000% gain for something like this. This is a really good stock to take a good risk on if you are going to take something like this. Obviously, do your own research, not financial advice, but with a stock this cheap, it is a very attractive one nonetheless. I will say that. Now, with TE, I do believe that it is going to be a lagger to EOS. It might actually outperform it on the chart, but I do think EOS is going to be the bigger player in the future when it comes to, company deals and other stuff like that, as EOS has already started to get these big company deals with stuff like Google, Amazon, and another billion-dollar deal with Amazon on top of that. Now, this was TE. We already talked about EOS, so let's go ahead and wrap this video up and talk a little bit more about these great energy stocks. Now, we talked about Eos Energy Enterprises, ticker symbol EOS, and we also talked about T1 Energy, ticker symbol TE. Both of these companies are looking to 10x their revenue over the next couple of years. I'm going to continue to say that because that is what you want to look for in a great business. I've had multiple people ask me why I am so bullish on these companies. That is what you want to see. You want to see your companies continuing to grow at a good rate. You want to see them grow in free cash flow. You want to see them grow in EPS. You want to see them grow in revenue. We're seeing that with both of these companies. We're also seeing a high demand for these data centers and the energy that is going to supply these data centers, as well as autonomous vehicles, which Eos has mentioned before they are not opposed to supplying their batteries for those autonomous vehicles. Now, both of those paths are great paths for the future, as we know both of those are going to be big players. We are going to have data centers, and we are most likely going to have autonomous cars. And if we don't have autonomous cars, we are going to have electric cars. And what are those electric cars going to be powered by? Possibly Eos's zinc batteries. Now, I am very passionate about this, as I do see the upside for both of these stocks. So, once again, please make sure you do your own research. I know I'm very bullish on these stocks, but please make sure you are too before you jump into these plays. Now, that was it from me. That was going to be Eos Energy Enterprises and TE Energy. Make sure you guys do check out our link in the description down below. Join up on our free Discord. You guys can also join up on our paid Discord where we have our Black Friday sale. Do whatever you would like. I'm having a great day. I hope you guys do too. And I will see you guys in the next one.